Here we are again, ready to finish our GFRC countertop. You've seen that we polished it. It's shiny from one end up to the other. We just gave it a light polish, and then we took a green Brillo pad actually and cut circles on it, put it on the bottom of our planetary polisher, and just gave it a little glaze over the top to kind of dull it down just a pinch so it looks a little more satiny. We've taken water and put some water in here, about an inch, into a jug, and then we've taken some Hydrogard 2, and we've taken that Hydrogard and we've poured a little bit in there, and that makes our solution a little cloudy. And then we're going to take our rag and we're going to totally put it in there. And on this first time around, we're not really going to wring it out all the way. We're going to want quite a bit of moisture in this, and we're going to bring that around, and we're just going to pour into our rag a little bit until it kind of pours out and onto the counter just a touch. We're not going to worry about that. We'll set that down. And we're going to move this around on the surface, and our rag is kind of wet, so it's going to keep our solution kind of wet. I'm going to try not to drip too much on the edges when I start, so I can come back and wipe the edges down. And we're going to put that on there. We're going to let that sit just a second and just kind of work this whole surface down to that first joint. And let that soak in, but not dry. Do not let it dry, or we'll get bad streaks. So we want to keep that wet on the surface for a few minutes and just let it absorb down. Now I like to just kind of massage it. Massage the sealer in, keeping it wet the whole time as I'm doing it. Once I see that it's starting to dry up a little bit on me, I want to be able to get it rubbed out all the way before I get to the other end of it, before it dries out. So I'm going to work it until I see it start to dry a little, and then I'm going to wring my rag out and try to work it down where I don't leave much on it. So once it looks about like that, then I'll just take my rag and I'm going to rinse it out a little bit. Try to get most of the water out of it. It'll be a little damp, and then I'm going to come back over top of it at this point and just kind of wipe it and get a nice consistent stroke going on it. Some guys like to do little circles. Some guys like to do nice long strokes. I prefer to do a nice long stroke and then maybe just change direction a few times. Try not to get too many bubbles in it. And once I got that, I kind of just go back and wipe all the edges. I'm not as concerned about the edges as I am on the top. You don't typically spill a beer or something down the side and get real abrasive with the side anyway, so. Like that, and as it dries, it almost leaves nothing behind. It looks like it's nice and satiny, and before long all the lines will go away, and we'll have a nice, clean, dry looking top, and it looks like really there's not much of anything on it. And that's kind of the beauty of the Hydrogard when it goes down, is it's not shiny, and it puts that protective surface on there without looking like it's got any build, which is kind of uncommon in the sealer world. But we'll end up putting about 6 coats. We put 2 coats on right now almost immediately, and then we'll wait an hour and we'll put 2 more coats on. Then we wait a day and we do it again twice again, so that's 4 times. And typically, if you want the best protection, you'll do it 3 days in a row and then go in and do an install after that. So we're going to get busy and seal this down. But as you can see, it doesn't change the surface color much. It stays pretty close to the consistency of what the rest of the countertop looks like. So we're really not going to change it a whole lot. And when it all dries, it'll end up looking like that. Even after 6 coats of sealer, you really won't see much difference. So we'll catch up on the flip side when we go to do the install. Thanks.